This week on Let's Try This Again.
I feel like at a very young age, I wasn't being my sister's sister. I jumped into mother mode. I had a huge blow up with her. I hurt her feelings. She hurt my feelings. I'm like, this is negative. This is not optimistic. She was having a bad day. And I was like, stop complaining. Like, get over it. Like, let's have a good day. Switch your mindset. I go to romantic relationships, friendships, my sister, always trying to change somebody by pulling out potential in them. They're not in the season where they want to change. They might not ever want what I want for them. Love people where they are and who they are. And if who they are is not good enough or is too toxic, remove yourself from the relationship. We have to figure out healthier ways to disagree. You don't own your siblings. I just want to be my sister's sister. Hey, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Try This Again podcast. As you can see, it's a solo episode. Y'all be loving the solo episodes, and I'll be like, in my solo episode bag, but I have been having a lot of guests, so I had to pop in a solo one. Oh my gosh, you guys, this shirt that I have on, it is so fire. Y'all know who that is? Y'all know who this man is on my shirt? Yeah, the one, the only, Jesus Christ. It's so cool. This brand gave it to me. Let me find it on my Instagram really quickly. Oh, it's called Righteous. That's literally the name of the brand. It's so dope. You guys can check them out. This is not paid promo. They just sent me free merch and it's so bomb. we.r.righteous on Instagram. So freaking dope. I love this shirt and they sent me a hoodie also. So quick little plug. But yeah, another solo episode, you guys. Today has been a pretty good day so far. I just got back from Dallas, Texas. I had an amazing time with my family. I got to see my grandmother. I got to see my aunt. I got to see my mom. I went to Woman Evolve. It was absolutely amazing. But as you guys could probably see by the title, this episode is going to be about siblings and the revelation I've been having recently about the relationship with me and my sister. So let me give you a little backstory. I'm an older sister, and let's go back to the beginning. I'll start back at childhood. So my parents got a divorce around the age of 5. I was 5, grew up with my father, broken home, literally divorce. I think that instantly, even at the age 5, 6, 7, 8, as I'm growing up, I jumped into mother mode. Like, watch out for your sister. Take care of your sister. Don't forget about your sister. What about your sister? And I didn't have that mother figure around me to teach. Like, I'm telling you guys, I grew up in a household. We did not talk about, a woman never talked to me about sex. A woman never talks to me about having my period. A woman never talks to me about shaving my legs. A woman never talks to me about pulling my skirt down, crossing my legs. A woman never talks to me about my first date. How do you date? How do you deal with men? How do you talk to men? Even though my grandmother was an amazing, amazing woman in my life that helped raise me after my parents got a divorce, we didn't talk about those things in the household. So these are all things I'm learning as I'm growing. I remember when I started my cycle in middle school, like I asked a friend at school and I stuffed toilet paper in my underwear. That might be too much information, but I'm saying those are the type of things I was going through as a young woman. I wasn't learning this in the household, which I think is a negative. It's going to happen. Women are going to start their period. Women are going to start liking boys. Women are going to be in relationships. Women are going to have sex. These things are going to happen. And if you don't learn them in your household, you're going to learn them from, which I did, friends and people in my community and people at school and that had no idea about them either. They weren't learning them either. They don't know either. I'm learning from my friends about sex and they don't know nothing about sex. Like it's the blind leading the blind. I'm asking my friend about this, how you do this? What you do? What is this? What is that? Because I wasn't having these conversations in the household. So I said that to say, I feel like at a very young age, I wasn't being my sister's sister. I was being her mother. I jumped into mother mode at a very young age. And now at 34, I'm realizing that is not healthy. It's not healthy. And me and my sister, we have these seasons where we might get into an argument, we won't talk, whatever, we get on each other's nerves, boom, don't talk. And then literally the way me and my sister talk back, or the way we get back in good graces, I'll have to text her first. We act like nothing ever happened, and then we're back on good terms, and we just move forward like nothing ever happened. We say sorry, we kumbaya, whatever. Recently, I had a huge blow up with her. Like, I think I hurt her feelings, she hurt my feelings, and I'm gonna kind of go through the text messages. Ooh, Lord, I don't even want to read them. They're probably gonna trigger me. I was like, this really hurt my feelings. She said some really hurtful things to me, and I think I hurt her too. So it was like tit for tat. So basically, right, she brought something up to me that to me, it might not be important, but because it's important to her, when you're in a relationship with somebody, whether it be a sibling, whether it be a romantic partner, whether it be a friend, when you're in a relationship with somebody and you love that person, what's important to them should be important to you to a certain extent, because it's important to them. At least in conversations with them, you should listen, at least. And I'm taking accountability for that. But she mentioned something that was important to her, and it wasn't important to me. So I brushed over it. I moved on, and I think that was a trigger for her. It really upset her. To me, so this is where my mind went. I'm like, this is negative. This is not optimistic. She's complaining, but really she was telling me about a situation in her day, and she was having a bad day. And I was like, stop complaining. Like, get over it. Like, let's have a good day. Like, the sun's going to be out today. It's going to be bright. Like, switch your mindset. Da, 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 da. Instead of letting her live in that moment and feel, I tried to brush over it because I was like, you're being negative. That also triggered her. And it led to a super huge blowout of us going back and forth and saying negative. I don't feel like I said negative, hurtful things to her, but I know she did say negative, hurtful things to me, because in arguments with my sister, I try to figure out where I went wrong. And I think this last argument, I'm not going to say I didn't say negative, hurtful things to her. I'm not going to say that because I probably did to her, right? But I'm trying to prove why I'm right. Like, no, I wasn't invalidating your feelings. I was just trying to have a positive day. I was trying to be positive. Yeah, but that's how she feels in that moment. Stop trying to say her mindset is negative when in this moment she is hurting, right? In those moments, we got into a major, huge argument. We didn't talk for like 3 weeks. It was bad. Like, that's probably one of the longest times we didn't talk. Like, I was like, I have to give this to God. I surrendered. Like, usually it would upset me. I would be crying. I would be thinking about it every day, but I really just let it go. And I'm like, however we come back together and have this conversation, we come back together and have this conversation. But we have to figure out healthy ways to disagree. Not even argue. We have to figure out healthy ways to disagree. So this is how we got back into good graces. Oh, before I get into this, are y'all ready for what's dropping in November? Some of y'all already know what it is. Y'all been putting it in the comments. And if you're in the LTTA group chat, which is the broadcast channel on Instagram, you already know what it is. I'm going to say it. I don't care. You guys, woo! We are launching the LTTA app. Oh my gosh. So let me tell you guys how I got to this point. Having an app has been a long, I'm talking about years, a dream of mine, just having a hub where everything is. But as you guys know, if you were a listener to the Know For Sure podcast, my previous podcast, we had Patreon. And instead of hopping back on Patreon for Let's Try This Again, I'm like, I don't want to go through a third party. I don't want to build another audience on Patreon. I want to build a platform and an app where I have all access and I can make adjustments accordingly and build it exactly how we want it, right? So this community that we are building on the Let's Try This Again app is going to be phenomenal. I'm going to say it's the leading app for women who want to evolve, have community, want to heal, want to elevate spiritually, mentally, physically, all things healing, all things evolving. And the biggest thing we want to do on this app is build community. Build community. I will be producing shows for this app. LTTA is now a production company that I am trying to build, and I am putting all of my finances, my energy into producing amazing shows for this app. You guys are not ready for the first show that we produce for this app. Ladies, Y'all better get ready. I'm telling you, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal for women. But building community, having daily reminders, affirmations, having a community where you can journal in real time, where you can watch the episodes and comment, where you can talk to other women who are on this same journey, connect with women in business, connect with women who have the same story as you, who have the same pain points as you, who have the same mindset as you. I want to build community. And I've done that so far on all of my platforms, on the LTTA page, which is the broadcast channel, but we're going to move it all over to this app. It's not only going to be exclusive content, extra content, community, journaling, daily reminders, daily affirmations, from devotionals to just motivating words. We have workouts that are going to be on there. It's going to be literally produced shows by LTTA Productions that will be on this app for different content. So I'm just so excited about this app. It will have exclusive merch drops. It will have tour dates when we take LTTA on the road. The app will get everything first. So I'm just so excited. The app is coming in November. I cannot wait for you guys to see what we've been working on. And yeah, so I'm not going to Patreon. I'm building an app from scratch. You don't know how long I've been working on this, oh my God, it's so tedious financially. I'm like, I've been saving. I can't spend. I've been cooking. I haven't been, shopping and spending all my money on frivolous things because it's going towards this app that I am building. And this community, it already is so tight knit. Like, the conversations we have in the LTTA broadcast channel are just so phenomenal. The community is so sweet. The girls are so supportive. I literally go live only for the LTTA chat. We go live. We talk to each other. It's just a family. It's a family. And that is the energy I want to cultivate on this app. So the LTTA app is coming soon. If you want to be the first to find out about this community that we are building with these women, go to letstrythisagain.com, scroll down to the bottom, and literally type in your email. So you get the updates, you get the newsletter, and you get first access on when it launches. So yeah, that's the secret. The cat is out the bag. I just told the LTTA app will be launching in November. So you guys, turn on your post notifications on Instagram, turn on your post notifications on TikTok, turn on your post notifications here, subscribe on YouTube, and just make sure you guys are ready for when this app launches. I was like, happy Sunday. I thought about you. I just got back in town. Are you okay? No response. And then, mind you, my cousin had a stroke, a very minor stroke, nothing like deadly. She's okay. She's back home. She's fine. But it was like a wake up call for me. And I wanted to make sure I sat with this. I'm like, I don't want to use this moment to manipulate with my sister, but this is how I truly feel. So this is what I wrote her. I was like, hey, sister, I called you twice. It went to voicemail. I just wanted to check on you again. I get you might want space, but you can let me know how you want me to show up for you, because you are still my sister and I love you. And I know you love me. Our cousin had a stroke. I said her name, but I don't want to say it on here. And she's completely fine. I'm sure you know that, but it made me think about you. Life is really short and I don't want to argue with you forever. So let me know if you would like to talk soon so we can try to move past this. And she responded, hey, I was walking the dog and my phone was off. I did find out about it. I talked to our cousin and okay, I love you too. And I said, okay, baby, I miss you and I love you. We'll talk about it soon. Have a good day. I miss you too. Okay, heart. That was the end of that conversation. I didn't push, I didn't nudge, but I just wanted to let my sister know the door is open if you want me to show up for you, if you need me, if you want to talk to me, the door is open. I don't want to continue to show up for my sister in the way I have been showing up our whole lives, as this motherly figure who tries to tell her what to do, who tries to control her life, who tries to make my values her values, who tries to make my life her life. I'm going to show up for her in the way she needs me to show up, and I'm going to set boundaries. If her shortcomings start to affect me, I can set boundaries and not let them affect me, but I don't have to force my sister into my lifestyle or into a lifestyle that I feel like she needs to have. In this season, my sister has to choose her life, her happiness, her joy, her peace, her healing, her journey on her own without me taking control of the wheel and trying to steer it for her. in this season, I'm going to be in the passenger seat and I'm going to support her. And if she starts to recklessly drive, I'm going to say, hey, take this exit and drop me off. I'm not going to grab the wheel. I'm going to say, you can go on this journey on your own. And when you get back stable, when you get back, however, to a good point, pick me back up. But I'm not going to take the wheel from my sister and try to navigate her life. And I believe that that has been an unhealthy control that I have been walking, through probably most of our whole lives, trying to control her life. So, and it's always out of love. It's because I want what's best for her. I want her to be okay. I want her to be happy. I want her to have a abundant life, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. But I cannot control her every decision and chastise her and be angry at her and say you're doing this wrong when her decisions don't align with my values. So I'm really, really learning that. But we got together. I text her, or we end up getting together. I text her. But anyways, we had a great conversation and we got together in person. And I was just like, I started crying. I was like, I am so sorry that I always try to tell you what to do. Because my sister says it's like, everybody doesn't want the life you want. Everybody doesn't want to do that. If it's not about content, if it's not about this, if it's not about that, you don't want to do it. If it's not. And in my mind, I'm like, well, yeah, content is how we're making money. Content is how you're going to pay your bills. Content is so you don't have to go clock in. In my mind, it's all for a positive reason. But she's like, I don't want to do this some days, or I don't want to do this, or if it's not about this, you don't care about this. We care about two totally different things, and our vision are totally different. So I want to connect with my sisters where we connect, and in the areas we don't connect, I don't have to force my vision onto her life. It's my vision for my life. And if she wants to be a part of it, she can come in and be a part of it. And if I want to be a part of her life, I can come in and be a part of it. Things that I don't agree with, I don't have to be a part of those things. But I also have this part of me that I was like, I talked about this with my therapist. I'm like, well, if she doesn't do what I say, and if she doesn't do this, and I got her to come to Atlanta and do this and do that, and this is the life for her, and it's going to be a more abundant life. And if she doesn't do this, then she won't have any financial stability. She won't be okay. And then I'm always the emergency contact. She has to call me, and I have to, pay for this and pay for that, and I have to find her a job, and I have to do all that. And my therapist was like, all right, you guys, as a winner of Apple's Podcast Show of the Year award, Code Switch is the sort of show that handles race and identity like you've never heard before. Regardless of what color you are, Code Switch knows that identity is a part of every story. What makes Code Switch valuable is that it doesn't shy away from the often messy and confusing aspects of race and identity. It addresses questions we all face but don't always know how to ask. When so much of the world talks about race in ways that feel either preachy or alienating, Code Switch is interested in how race and identity shape your world in real and confusing and sometimes funny ways. From discussions with comedians of color about what makes a good race joke, to how questions of identity swirl around reality TV, Dungeons and Dragons, and BBLs, Code Switch guides you through all of the different spaces that people of color live in and what it's like to navigate them. Code Switch doesn't just talk to you about race and identity in the abstract, you guys. It tackles real, everyday questions like how to create boundaries with immigrant parents, or tips on how to speak to family members whose racial views might feel stuck in the Stone Age. So, from what James Baldwin can teach us about Israel, to unpacking Kamala Harris's identity with politics, to exploring the long history of sex testing in sports, Code Switch gets really real about the way that race and identity in the headlines can affect the way we think about race and identity at home, y'all. So if you're looking for a place to start, check out the episode titled, What It's Like to Be a Black Woman with Bipolar Disorder. This episode highlights Naomi Jackson as she shares her experience with bipolar disorder. She talks about how she had to decipher what fears stem from her illness and which are backed by the history of racism. Wow. Every new episode of Code Switch feels like a love letter to the ways that race and identity are always connected and how your life, no matter who you are, is made richer by thinking through them. All right, you guys, listen now to Code Switch from NPR wherever you get your podcasts. Back to the show. Do you? Like, you're choosing to do all of those things. If you let your sister live her life and she falls short and she comes to a moment where she is not okay or elevating, or you have to come in and be the emergency contact, you don't have to do that. You can set a boundary and say, well, these were the decisions you made and these are the consequences that come with them. And it goes back to, we can go back to the episode with me with Dr. Bryant, having that savior complex. I go to romantic relationships, friendships, my sister, always trying to change somebody by pulling out potential in them that they're not in the season where they want to change, or they want more, or they might not ever want what I want for them. Just because I want something for somebody, does that, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying that's what they need to have. I'm saying this is my vision. This is my outlook on how their life and how they should be. You can reach your potential. You need to do this. You need to eat that. You need to do all these things that really I'm projecting, because those are all the things I want for myself. I want to eat this way. I want to be more healthy. I want to be financially stable. I want to be this multimillionaire and have financial stability. I want to have all these businesses and have this vision and have financial freedom and live this type of life. Everybody doesn't want that type of life. And I feel like a lot of people do, but everybody doesn't want to work towards it. Everybody is not ready for that. And I cannot force that upon people. You have to love people where they are. And I'm taking full accountability. And I've said this to my sister, but I'm going to say it publicly. I am so sorry. I am so sorry, Jordan, for forcing my beliefs, forcing my values, forcing my vision, forcing my lifestyle onto your life. You are your own person with your own dreams, with your own goals, with your own traumas, with your own triggers. I should not force you to be my idea of what success looks like. I should love you exactly where you are and who you are, and let you live life and go on this journey on your own. And anything that does not align with me or anything that crosses my boundaries, I can remove myself at that point if that comes up. But other than that, in this season, I just want to be my sister's sister. I just want to love her, and I want to be her sister. And I asked her that. I'm like, going back to us, we went to the movies the other day. It was the best sister date. Oh my God, I love dates with my sister. It was the best date. She picked me up, got in the car, hugged her. We got snacks. We went to Studio Movie Grill. We ate. We looked at each other like there is no reason we should have ordered all that food. We ate so much food. We had a sister date, and we got in the car. I think it was in the car on the way there. I asked her, like, I want you to think about this. And I asked her, ask your siblings, you guys. Ask them. Things that trigger you, don't trigger them. Things that trigger them, don't trigger you, excuse me. Ask them. I asked my sister this. I said, how do you want me to show up in this season as your sister? Not your mentor, not your multi-million-dollar sister that's trying to parent you and pull you into this lifestyle that I have. I said, write down your boundaries. If you don't want to shoot content, I will never bring up content again. Never. I will never bring it up again. If you don't want to do certain things, I will never bring it up again. I want to be your sister in this season. I don't want to be your mom. I don't want to be your mentor. I don't want to be your boss. I don't want to be your spiritual leader. I want to be your sister. I want to show up as a friend and your sister. So I asked my sister, how do you want me to show up in this season? And I was like, you don't have to answer right now. Maybe write it down, make a list, and think about how you want me to show up as your sister. And we had a great conversation. We talked about so many things, family stuff, traumas, where she gets her triggers from, when she gets upset, and, kind of like she lashed out on me in our argument, and I, went back at her. We were going back and forth, but where that's coming from is coming from, once again, me taking full accountability, just overbearing. Love people where they are and who they are. And if who they are is not good enough or healthy, or is too toxic, or it's not making you happy, remove yourself from the relationship. Don't try to make a tug and war and change people into somebody they don't want to be or that they're not ready to be. And like I said, I have been doing that with my sister for probably 30 years. And in this season, I'm really, really learning that that is just not healthy. And it's not going to lead me to having a healthy relationship with her. And I have to let go. I have to maneuver when she's in a bind or when she makes certain decisions and she has maybe negative consequences for those decisions. I'm going to have to let her figure it out. I can't run to savior mode because even that upsets me. When I'm like, well, I told you if you would have just made content, you would have had money. Or if you would have just did what I said, you wouldn't have been in this situation. Or if you would have just, no. Okay, you're in this situation. Sissy, you got to figure it out. You're in this situation. I'm going to let you figure it out. You're mature enough. You're smart enough to figure it out. So not trying to change people and not running into being in that savior mode. So, and me and my sister even had a conversation about the Dr. Brian episode. I asked her, I'm like, how do you feel about that? Like, and she was like, I'm not going to lie. I was super triggered at first. Like, who is she to think that she could talk about this? I've never talked about this. And, I've never talked about my mom, or I've never talked about our childhood, or I've never talked about all these things publicly, and this is going to affect everybody. I started bawling. But then I just realized, like, this is your story. You're telling your story. You're not just telling everybody else's business. You're telling your story. You're not doing it to tell people's business. You're doing it to tell your story. And I support you. I love you. That doesn't make it any less scary, but I'm proud of you. She's like, I'm not ready to talk about it. But if you're ready to tell your story, tell where you come from, tell what you've been through, I support you. I love you. And she goes, I'm proud of you. And I just started crying, and we had that moment. So just to hear her be supportive through where I am in my life. And she said she was sorry. Now, my sister, she don't apologize a lot. We going to just move on, act like it never happened. But for her to be like, I am sorry. She apologized about our argument. And she apologized. She said, I'm sorry. I'm proud of you. I support you. And now we're figuring out healthier ways. Because I'm like, we're not 18 no more. I'm not in my early 20s. I'm 34. She's 32. We have to figure out healthier ways to disagree. And I'm working on that now. And I feel like I'm in a really, really good space. And I just want to encourage you guys. Being a sibling is not easy, especially an older one, because you jump into parent mode a lot. You jump into savior mode a lot. But you don't own your siblings. You don't own them. You don't control them. What you value might not be what they value. You can help them and lead them by actions and keeping them accountable for their decisions, but you don't control them and you don't own them. You don't own anybody, whether it's a sibling, whether it's a romantic partner, whether it's a friend. I don't own anybody. So whatever they want to do with their life is their decision, and I'll meet you in the areas where I can meet you, and the things I don't agree with, things I don't want to be a part of, things I don't want to support or don't want to I want to have a boundary with. I don't have to be a part of those things, So I'm so proud of myself for being in this space with my sister. I'm so proud of my sister. She is maturing. She is elevating. She is growing, and at her own pace. I'm just proud of where she's at in life, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and I'm proud of where we are in our relationship, figuring out how to disagree in a healthy way. So you guys, I encourage you guys to have these conversations with your siblings. Don't show up how you want to show up. Ask people, how do you want me to show up in this season? And every season might be different. What things do I do that bother you? Am I too controlling? Even though I do it out of love, it is a sense of control. Yes, I love my sister, but I feel like if I control her actions, she would be successful. If I control what she does with her money, she won't have money problems. If I control, girl, Braylon, you have so many other things you need to worry about. You're still trying to manage your money. you're still trying to keep a business afloat. You're still trying to have self-control and discipline in certain areas. So I feel like I said before, a lot of it is projecting. I want her to be so perfect that I'm projecting the things I need to fix within myself. Why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? I feel like I do that in relationships with men. I do that with my sister. I've done it in relationships. It's like, stop trying to change people. Love them where they are. And if where they are is not good enough for you, move along. Move along. Move accordingly and worry about the things you need to fix within yourself. So yeah, as your siblings, you guys work on, oh my God. Even when me and my sister weren't talking, I knew we were going to talk again. We weren't never just not going to talk again. But I'm like, this time has to be different. And it's so different. The conversations we're having are different. They're more mature. They're more elevated. There's nothing like a sister's love. There's nothing like a sibling's love. And you guys do not want to go through life and not have that relationship with your sibling. Figure out a way to show up for your sibling in the way they need, in the way you can, and leave the rest alone. Stop trying to change them. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Let's Try This Again podcast. I just wanted to let you know that was on my heart to share about me and my sister. I'm so proud of where we're at. I love you so much, Jordan, and I cannot wait to get you back on the couch. Y'all loved our episode, so I definitely got to get her back on the couch. And yeah, this is another episode of the Let's Try This Again podcast, and I will see you guys next week. Bye. All right, y'all. I am back on tour. The Still Standing Comedy Tour, baby, is coming to a city near you. Columbus, Ohio, October 20th. Nashville, Tennessee, October 25th and October 26th. Boston, Massachusetts, November 22nd. You guys get your tickets at officialb.simone.com. If you're a single man, pull up, bring me some flowers and surprise me. If you're not single, bring your girlfriend or your wife. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me because I can't fight. Okay? Stay away from me. I don't want nobody that's taken in my face. But come to the comedy show. Come laugh. Come turn up. Come have a good time. And there's a meet and greet after every single show. You guys, I'm coming to a city near you. And if you want me to come to your city, drop your city in the comments. But I will see y'all on the road. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Let's Try This Again podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and share the podcast. Until next time, stay resilient. And remember, I love you guys.